Day 6 of Kisan Kranti. Farmers' hardened stance threaten Delhi siege for months. Langars on roads, women and children in protest and blocked highways. Sportspersons, celebrities, Punjabi music stars join. Government's talk inconclusive. Day 6 deadlock continues. I want to immediately, before I go to our other guests, cut across to VM Singh. He's joining us right now from Buradi. He is representing one of the farm groups that has said, yes, we will go to Buradi because the Home Minister said that you needed to go there for protest. He's joining us live from there. I also have Mr. Tom Wadakan, BJP spokesperson. Very soon we'd be joined by Ravinder Singh. He's an author and an entrepreneur. He is from Punjab, very strongly feels with the cause of the farmers. And we'll be joined in a short while with Avinash Saha, national convener, Jai Kisan Andolan. I want to immediately connect first to Mr. VM Singh. Mr. VM Singh, I know you're disappointed because you say that the farm unions that were called today, the 35 of them belong to Punjab. The cause is of the farmers, and people like you who are in thousands right now in Buradi and you represent Uttar Pradesh should have also been part of the table or the round table meeting the government today.
Firstly, I am sitting right now with your team as such at Buradi. I am not in the consultation team or whatever. I am the convener of All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee that had given a call. Now the government had given assurance to all the farmers in the country, come to Buradi, we'll listen to you. And they have not sent an invitation to us. That means we can't trust the government, number one. If you can't trust the government, what do you expect them to do? They'll give a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, say the same thing again, what they've been saying in the past. I mean, they have nothing to talk to you. If they do, then let them come across the table and say very well, we're calling everybody who are the stakeholders. You can't have one state and tell the whole country that they are the stakeholders, especially when Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, that is sitting in Buradi today. I mean, for the last 3 days, after the call of the Home Minister, I have asked about 2,500 leaders. I repeat, not farmers, but leaders who are here right now. And they have come, and at their call, at least 100 people each will come. That makes it almost about, I think, 2.5 lakh people. If that's a show of strength, we'll do it. But the point is that the government has gone back on its word. It's not even given us a call. This is exactly the grievance today. And in any case, if they do say that, okay, fine, we're taking the bills off, very well, so be it. But if not, I want to tell you, Uttar Pradesh is not a state you can play with. We grow more wheat. I mean, before that I must say something. Haryana, Punjab, Uttarakhand, right up to Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and the whole place together, the whole country together is fighting together for these bills. But having said that, let me clarify one thing. Uttar Pradesh is playing no second fiddle to anyone. We grow more wheat and paddy than Haryana and Punjab put together. Okay. We have more than 300 lakh metric ton of paddy. We have over 300 lakh metric ton of wheat, which is more than Punjab, Haryana. We have the highest sugarcane in the country, and what tea we take, jitni mithas aati hai desh ke andar, it comes from Uttar Pradesh when they grow sugarcane and sugar. Right. But at the same time, the ill treatment today, that not a soul from Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand has been called, which is very sad. That means, अगर आप बात करोगे होम मिनिस्टर की बात मान के अगर आप जाओगे, तो आपको नहीं बुलाया जाएगा. Very, very sad. I think we are feeling very, very dejected on this issue, and I think we've been taken for a ride. All these boys have been telling me, let's block this thing, let's block that thing. I said, no. Let's have a very straight thing for the first time with these people, and they have proven me wrong.
Mr. Singh, I know you're now going to continue to agitate with your farmers from Punjab and Haryana as well, but I know you're disappointed. I'm going to come right back to you. Let's quickly cut across to our other guests. Mr. Tom Wadakan, would you respond to this, sir? Because at one end, there was an attempt to isolate and say these are only Punjab farmers. You have the likes of Mr. Singh, who you just heard, who's been sitting for 3 days. You said go to Buradi. He's in Buradi. He's there with thousands of farmers. They've not been brought to the table. How are they supposed to trust a government who seems to distance themselves time and time again. Earlier on it was said Mr. Rajnath Singh will head the meeting. He will talk to the farmers. Kisan ka beta baat karega. Mr. Rajnath Singh never went, sir, today with the farmers. Mr. Vadakan, we are having an audio problem. We're going to try and rectify your audio link. We're going to try and rectify your audio link. We're going to come right back. Let's go across to our other guests. I have Ravinder Singh, author and entrepreneur, and I have Avinash Saha, the national convener of the Jai Kisan Andolan. Ravinder, if you'll just stay with me for a minute, I want to introduce Mr. Avinash Saha, who's the national convener of the Jai Kisan Andolan. What now, Mr. Saha? Because now it seems it's a Mexican standoff. The government says not taking back the laws. The farmers saying that take back the laws or we are not going to talk. Will the farmers be happy if the MSP demand is met and the MSP is legalized on paper? Will they relent?
Before I start, Jai Kisan Andolan is a very small organization of which I am in the leadership. But my convener of All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee, Mr. VM Singh, is already on your show. And he has presented our collective view. However, having said that, if you just repeat your question once, I'll try and add to what Mr. Singh has said.
Right. Right. Mr. Saha, the question is, what now? Will the farmers be happy if the government on Thursday comes back and says, we legalize MSP, we'll put that on paper? Would the farmers still stick to taking back all three laws?
No, these are all hypothetical questions. Making a law, making MSP legal with the existence of these laws cannot exist together, because these laws promote a free market and the farmers want an assured, guaranteed income through an assured market. So two things cannot exist at the same time. Those who have been speaking about it perhaps have not a clear idea of what it is. On behalf of AIKSCC, it is very clear that we have only one demand, which we've converted into a law and put into Parliament, which is a guaranteed MSP so that the income of farmers is also guaranteed. And when I say guaranteed MSP, I don't mean guarantee of the announcement of prices.
Right.
I mean a system by which all crops are sold and transacted at a price not below MSP. And AIKCC has made that law, put it in Lok Sabha, put another law in Rajya Sabha. Implementation of that is the key solution. These laws have to be thrown away because they don't address the problem at all. So repeal of the laws seems to have become the main war cry, but that actually came only because the government introduced these laws, which were not the solution.
Okay.
So they need to just be pushed away, kept in by side. And the law to ensure that farmers get guaranteed prices and guaranteed markets has to be implemented. That is the nationwide demand of all farmer
And that's something the farmers are not backing out of. And in the middle of it, we've had, Ravinder Singh, you're an author, you're a writer. You've also joined a legion of celebrities, one would say, actors, local folk musicians, sports persons from Punjab, who've been very vocal in support of farmers. There's a lot which has gone down in terms of language of Khalistanis infiltrating this movement. On the other hand, anti-national, taking over the movement, this turning into another Shaheen Bagh. What do you have to say?
Wherever there is protest, Preeti, whenever there will be miscreants, there will be certain voices, certain agendas coming into picture. But I would not lose the larger picture. I stand against the idea of Khalistan. I stand with farmers on MSP, and that these bills which have been forcefully passed in the parliament without consultation from the opposition, without the kind of voting that should have been done, are regressive in nature. So I do stand with the farmers and in favor of them. And I do reject this whole Khalistan angle from wherever it is coming. And I know that the government of the day is trying to blow this out of proportion, that everything is so political in nature and it's about Khalistan. No, it's not that way. There could be some 2 dozen or 100 different voices, but look at the larger thing. What exactly are the farmers wanting? And had this Khalistani movement, do you think the farmers of Punjab would have come all the way to Delhi after sitting for 40 days in Punjab? No, the government didn't listen to them. They didn't have any other option but to come here and talk. And now they're coming to table to talk.
All right, Mr. Vadakan, I hope we have your audio link back. What now, Mr. Vadakan? The farmers are very clear. Take all 3 laws back. We're not going to blink. The siege of Delhi will continue. What's the government going to do now?
I heard your first speaker, Mr. V.M. Singh. I've known him for almost a decade, and he's a genuine person who has fought for the cause of the farmers. And there are many issues he has raised. And I think what has happened has been a communication gap, because many of the farmers in Burari were supposed to be called. In this melee, what happens is there is a lot of confusion of who's called and who's not called. But I'm sure they will look into this matter. Now, as to the question of the farmers, I think there are different voices coming in from the farming section. There is this Punjab, there is this Uttar Pradesh, and there is these competitive stakeholders who say, now, for example, from South India, we have not heard much. And there are others who say that the MSP must include a variety of other crops, and there are arguments. So I think what is important, yes, today there was the breakthrough didn't happen, but from the kind of reactions coming in from the government, it was a fruitful beginning, and the discussions ensured. Now, a further dialogue is scheduled for the 3rd, and I'm very confident that the government and the farmers would come out on the table. They will bring on table issues which can be mutually sorted out. And this is not a war situation. These are states, farmers for whom we have done everything possible. This is the only government that has increased the MSP, investment in agriculture, and all that has happened. And this is a very serious matter for us. We don't take it lightly.
Mr. Vadakan, Ravinder Singh is shaking his head rather violently, and he's,
I can understand. No, he's doing it musically. I understand that. But let me complete what I'm saying.
Right.
He's shaking his head doesn't mean I need to stop.
No, sir, go ahead. Make your point.
My point is the government will walk that extra mile to solve this problem. It is not about Punjab. It is not about Haryana. It is not about UP. This is about Indian farmers. And we will walk that extra mile. Rest assured, Preeti, there may be different voices elsewhere. But here we are very clear and level-headed. We have a Prime Minister who's focused on the farmers. Let there be no confusion. This may take a few days, this side or that side, but the problem will be sorted out, and rest assured, the farming community will be very happy with this.
Mr. Singh, what is it that you wanted to say?
If the government is really pro-farmers, all that they need to add in this bill is that no private player will be allowed to procure the harvest at a price point minimum than MSP. That's all you need to do, and people will go back home. If the government is really pro-farmers, but if the government is pro-private players, they will shy away and not add this clause in the bill. That is the whole point out there.
This is very simplistic.
It is very fundamental.
You want investment coming in? Do you want the farmers to develop? Or do you want middlemen to prosper?
No, I do. I do want.
Do you want the commission agents to prosper, or do you want?
I do.
Do you want the
Please do not.
Okay, let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Okay, Mr. Vadakan, you've raised a point. Okay, you've raised a point. Ravinder, I know you feel strongly about it. Answer.
I'll let him answer.
No, Mr. Vadakan has raised a point. He says, why do you want to put development on a standstill? This will, break the monopoly of middlemen. What is it that you have to say?
It will not break the monopoly of middlemen. Look what is happening in Bihar. They have done away with the APMC in Bihar in 2006. There are new middlemen. This morning, I tweeted a video of late Sushma Swaraj when FDI in retail was coming and this government was back then in opposition. Sushma Swaraj said the exact thing.
Okay.
When Congress was in power and they were trying to bring FDI in retail, the same logic which now BJP stands for were given by Congress, and BJP was opposing it. And the whole argument was that it is not going to break middlemen. There will be new middlemen that will come into power. If you are really pro-farmer, please ensure that you do not allow any private player to buy something below MSP. Why are you shying away? Which means that somewhere in your mind, it is so clear that tomorrow private players are going to buy the procurement at below price point. Why are you even allowing that at the very first place?
All right, Mr. Vadakan, quickly answer, sir.
I heard him out, and I wish he hears me properly. He talked about the Congress Party 2019. There was a mention in their manifesto that APMC must be scrapped. Now, it is the same Congress Party who has joined hands with them. What is their position? And the question is, do you want investment in the farming sector? Do you want them to grow? Or do you want parasites to eat them? Now, you have a
If
situation
farmers were really
Punjab.
growing, why would they come
Okay.
all
The
the way
kind
from
of
Punjab to do
parasites
this
are
protest?
eating their crops. But here you have parasites eating the farmer. And that is the middleman we are talking about.
John,
And that
please
is the middleman
understand.
we're trying to wipe out.
Sir, please understand. You are telling the farmers that we are doing something good for you. And farmers
Yes.
are telling, please do not do this good for us. Please do not. But you are saying, no, you will have to take this.
It is
Otherwise,
the
I will
middleman.
bring the
It
water
is
cannons,
not
I will
the
bring the
farmer.
tear gas, I will dug the highway.
the
But you will have
middleman.
to take what I am doing for you.
It is a middleman. It is this.
Okay, let's just take a look. Now,
brainwashing
can I
by
just turn to
middlemen.
the farmers? I want to go back to Mr. VM Singh. Mr. VM Singh, what happens now? What happens tomorrow? Are we going to go back to the table? Because yes, you were not called in, but there were other organizations that were called in. Is there middle ground, or are the farmers going to stick to that same demand of taking back all three laws?
Now today, it's a very natural consequence. The people who have gone in have to take a call. Once they take a call, then we'll see whether it suits us, does not suit us, we want to take some other recourse. What we feel like doing is going to be later. First, it's only they have to take their call because they are seeing firsthand what the government is saying. We would only be barking up the wrong tree. Right now, if I assume and presume that they're doing something there and we have to take a recourse to this action, we can't. Let them come out. Let the whole thing come out as to what they said. Did they say anything about the guarantee of the MSP? Did they say, okay, we can do this for you? I mean, I don't find this. I was on a channel, a Hindi channel right now, and the BJP spokesperson says, oh, we can never have a MSP guarantee because that it can't be the law. I said, how can a SDM's order, you can't go to court, you say, and a SDM's order will be a decree of the court. It is never heard of in the world. If you can do that for the corporates, why can't you do this for the farmers, get the MSP in? So these are factors we need to talk. Let's see how it is, and we'll pick it up from there.
All right, Mr. Saha, I know, Mr. Singh, you're going to be sitting down, figuring out what the next course of action is. But what it looks like, Mr. Saha, now is this seems to be the long haul. If the laws are not taken back, then, the siege of Delhi, which many are looking at it, is going to continue for months on.
My reaction is very simple. The government is laying siege to Delhi. Look what they did today. The BJP spokesperson said that they want all farmers to be involved to talk. And what did they do? They called the Punjab farmers. Why did they do that? They are aware of the existence of AIKCC. They know that 250 organizations all over India are represented, but they didn't call AIKCC. So the intent to resolve is not there. And all the trouble, all the reporting that you see about what you call the siege of Delhi, the government is imposing a siege on itself. This government has already gone to court in 2015 and said that MSP at the prices recommended by the Swaminathan Commission cannot be given because that will distort the market. This government lives in the market, for the market, and is by those who control the market. And here they are pretending that they want amity with the farmers and actually are creating division and trying to create division between the farmers, are inviting selectively, not inviting the largest organizations. The government will have to pay the price for this. It's very foolish on the part of the government. I don't think the government is on the right track. Even today, initial talks may have begun, but the government is still on its wrong track. Here is the Prime Minister saying that everything is okay with the law, nothing will be changed. Do you think those ministers sitting in the meeting today have the power to override what the Prime Minister has been articulating in public? So there are so many voices coming from within BJP. They are to confuse, confound, and their only effort at this point of time is to somehow break the farmers' movement. Love for farmers is just lip service for the BJP.
All right. Okay. Well, it's going to continue. I appreciate all four gentlemen for joining us this evening. The talks will continue on December 3rd. The fact is, whether you like it or not, the The movement, yes, it's a farmer movement. It's going to turn political. It already has in parts. It's also cultural. It's also social. Look at what's happening in Punjab. Look at sports person, Padma awardees who've come out and say we're going to give back our awards. You've got to look at it on that context. So the focus, the spotlight right now is going to be on the 3rd of December when the talks will resume. What will the government do? Well, one big sticking point is if middle ground needs to be reached, will the government relent and say that they will make MSP legal? Well, will the farmers accept it? Till now, it's a Mexican standoff. The government says not taking any law back, and the farmer says nothing doing, take the laws back. Until then, the standoff continues. Appreciate you all for joining us. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.